A no HOA home in Carson City can sound like the dream. More control over your property, fewer people telling you where you can park, paint, store, build, or change.
For a lot of buyers, especially if you have an RV, extra vehicles, outdoor gear, work equipment, animals, or strong opinions about how you want to use your home, that freedom gets your attention real fast. The other side of it shows up when there is no HOA. There may also be no one enforcing neighborhood appearance.
The house next door may not be maintained the way you would maintain yours. Parking might be flexible, but then that flexibility belongs to everyone around you too. Exterior changes might feel easier, although city rules, zoning, permits, easements, and property-specific restrictions can still apply. Freedom is real, but so is the responsibility that comes with it.
That is why this conversation matters. A no HOA home can be a great fit in Carson City. It can also create surprises if you only focus on what you're escaping and not what you're accepting.
Today, we're going to talk about what no HOA actually means before you chase one. Not the fantasy version, the real version.
If you're searching for a home in Carson City and no HOA is one of your favorite filter, comment with your reasons. Is it RV parking, fewer rules, more privacy, exterior freedom, investment, flexibility, or just not wanting another monthly fee?
That answer usually tells us whether no HOA is really important for your life or just appealing in theory.
I'm Jill Larson with the Larson Miller Group.
And I'm Marette Miller, and we help buyers, sellers, move-up homeowners, and investors make confident real estate decisions throughout Carson City and Northern Nevada.
The first thing to understand is really simple. No HOA does not mean no rules. That surprises buyers more than you think. A property can be outside an HOA and still be subject to city requirements, county rules, zoning standards, building permits, setback limitations, easement, nuance rules, short-term rental regulations, utility access requirements, deed restrictions that were not recorded long before the current homeowner.
So when a listing says no HOA, don't hear anything goes. Here, there may not be a private neighborhood association collecting dues and enforcing community rules. That's a very different statement.
You still need to understand what the property allows. Can you attach and add a structure? Would an RV parking actually be permitted in the driveway? How you plan to use it? Are the restrictions tied to your parcel? And does that property have shared access, drainage, responsibilities, or an easement that affects your future changes?
Could a fence, an addition, a shop, guest space, or an exterior project require approval somewhere else? Those questions aren't meant to scare you, but they can protect you. The buyer who asks them before writing an offer is in a much safer position than the buyer who assumes that no HOA means unlimited freedom.
Now, the reason why buyers love the no HOA homes is understandable. A lot of people want control. You may not want to ask permission to park a trailer. A homeowner with an RV might be tired of the communities that restrict the storage. Someone who owns work vehicles, tools, outdoor equipment, or recreation gear may need more flexibility than a typical HOA neighborhood allows.
Investors may care about rental rules, property use, and long-term options. Move-up buyers might want a home that finally gives them room to live the way they want without feeling watched by a committee. And those desires are really valid. Property control can be a major quality of life issue. If you buy a home and immediately feel restricted by rules, the house may never feel like yours.
And no HOA properties can offer a level of flexibility that certain buyers genuinely need. The key is knowing exactly which freedoms matter to you. Vague freedom is not enough. You need to name the one thing that you want to do. Is it park an RV, park a boat, build a shop, keep extra vehicles, add a fence, change the exterior, create a garden, have chickens, use the property for certain rental strategies, store equipment, expand outdoor living? Once the goal is really specific and your search becomes a little bit smarter.
A buyer who only says, I don't want an HOA, might miss better options or misunderstand the trade-off. And a buyer who says, I need room for a fifth wheel and we don't want parking restrictions, knows what to verify. That's a stronger search. Now, let's talk about parking, because this is often where no HOA demand becomes really practical.
In Carson City, many buyers care about driveways, garage, shops, RVs, access, yard space, boat storage, trailers, extra vehicles, and outdoor recreation gear. That is not just a preference. For some households, parking determines whether that property really works for them.
A property can have a gorgeous interior and still fail your life if there's nowhere practical to put the things you own. And that's where no HOA homes can become really attractive. You may have a lot more options.
The property may allow the kind of parking that an HOA would restrict. A larger driveway, wider side yard, or more flexibility exterior use can make your home feel a little bit more functional. Before you get too excited, check the actual space. Measure the access, look at the slopes, pay attention to the gates, curb setbacks, drainage, utility boxes, and how easily a large vehicle can get in and out. A listing may say RV parking, and your RV still has to fit, and so does your boat.
That sounds obvious until you watch buyers fall in love with the idea and forget to test the reality. Parking affects resale. A no HOA property with truly usable RV access can be super valuable to the right buyer, but poorly arranged parking might not carry the same weight, even if the listing uses that catchy phrase. Usable space matters way more than marketing language.
Now, exterior freedom is another major reason buyers chase the no HOA homes. People want to paint, landscape, fence, remodel, storage, change materials, or make the home feel like theirs. And that can be really freeing. Still, the absence of an HOA does not remove the need for thoughtful decision.
A property with too many owner-specific choices can become harder to sell later on. Bright paint, unusual exterior projects, or neglected improvements can make the home feel less polished over time. Freedom helps when it creates a better property, but careless freedom can really hurt the value of your home. And that's the part that buyers rarely think about at the beginning.
No HOA gives you more control, but it also asks you to become your own quality standard control. Nobody's checking whether your choices for resale make sense.
You have to think through that yourself. A strong no HOA property isn't the one where nothing's been done. It's the one where flexibility has been used well. Good fencing, useful parking, clean exterior maintenance, functional landscaping, smart improvements. A home that really feels cared for without feeling overly controlled.
That is what buyers should be looking for. Now, let's talk about neighborhood consistency. That is a trade-off buyers might need to pause about. An HOA can be annoying if the rules feel too tight, and the same structure can help also preserve the look and feel of neighborhoods.
In a neighborhood with no HOA, the street might have more personality. The homes can look different, people can use their property in different ways. One yard might feel really polished, and the next yard could be relaxed. Vehicles, trailers, equipment, landscaping, paint choices, and exterior maintenance can vary a lot more than they would in a controlled community, and some buyers really love that.
They don't want every house to look the same. A little variety can make a neighborhood feel more real. Other buyers may feel uncomfortable when the area is too unpredictable, and that reaction really matters. You should not buy a no HOA home because you want freedom, then spend the next 5 years frustrated that your neighbors have that freedom too.
That's the part that people forget. The same flexibility that you gain is the flexibility that everyone else has. So when you're touring a neighborhood that doesn't have an HOA, don't only evaluate the house, look at the street, drive around the surrounding blocks, visit at different times of the year or of the day if you're serious about it. You should notice how people park and pay attention to how they do exterior upkeep. Listen for noise, look at yards and fences, trailers, equipment, lighting, and people's general pride of ownership.
A no HOA neighborhood can be really fantastic when the surrounding owners care about their properties. It can feel stressful when the nearby maintenance standards do not match yours. That is not a judgment, but it really needs to be part of your buying decision.
Now, maintenance expectations change too when there's no HOA. In some communities, that HOA often handles certain shared spaces, exterior standards, common areas, road-related things, amenities, or neighborhood management. And without that structure, generally, more responsibility falls directly on owners, or sometimes they're handled through other arrangements. You need to know what belongs to you.
Who maintains the road if it's private? Are there shared driveway agreements? Does the property rely on easements? What happens with drainage and snow removal? Are there fences, ditches, retaining walls, or access points that require ongoing attention? Could landscaping or exterior upkeep be more involved than it actually looks?
Having no HOA can save you a monthly fee, but it doesn't mean that it saves you from every cost. Sometimes the money simply moves from dues to direct responsibility. For the right buyer, that feels better. You might prefer to control where your money goes, but another buyer might feel most comfortable paying dues in exchange for the structure, the standards, and that shared maintenance.
Neither reaction is wrong. The question is which one fits your personality and your lifestyle.
Do you want autonomy or do you want a system?
The answer will tell you a lot. Around this point, comment with which feels more like freedom, with more personal responsibility or more structures and rules.
There's no universal right answer, but there's usually a right answer for how you like to own a property.
Now, let's talk about buyers with RVs, boats, trailers, and a bunch of outdoor toys.
No HOA homes can be especially appealing for this group because the property has to work beyond the front door. If your lifestyle involves road trips, camping, skiing, fishing, mountain biking, boating and hunting, or any kind of outdoor recreation, storage becomes part of that home search. You might need height clearance, turning radius matters, side yard access matters more than the guest bedroom.
A garage may need depth, not just square footage. The driveway has to function without becoming a daily puzzle. That is why buyers should physically test these details. Bring measurements, know the length of your RV or your boat, consider the width of the gate, look at the roof, the lines, the slope, the power access, and whether the storage around it actually fits what you need year-round.
A property can look really perfect until you realize the trailer barely fits. No HOA may allow the use, but the lot still has to support it, and that difference can save you from a big mistake.
Investors should look at the no HOA homes throughout the different lens. Flexibility can be valuable, but it should not replace your due diligence. Rental rules, local regulations, insurance, maintenance, parking, and neighborhood demand, and property conditions still matter.
A home with no HOA might give an investor more options than a restricted community, but it also could require more direct management because there's less neighborhood structure around the property. Numbers need to make sense. So does the case use.
An investor should never buy only because the no HOA sounds easier. The property still has to perform. For a move-up buyer, the emotional pull is often control.
You may be leaving a home where rules, yard size, garage, parking, or exterior limitations just stopped working for you. That property with no HOA can start to feel like a relief.
Finally, you can breathe a little bit. Finally, your driveway fits your life and your lifestyle and all the kids you have. Finally, you're not reading a rule book before making a simple change, and that feeling really, truly does matter.
But just make sure the home solves the actual frustration. If the old problem was parking, verify the parking. When the issue is privacy, study the surrounding.
A buyer who wants property freedom should confirm the lot, the layout, the access, and the neighborhood supports it. Otherwise, the home may offer the idea of freedom without the function that you need.
Relocation buyers need to be careful too here. If you're moving from a highly regulated community, no HOA can sound really appealing. You might be tired of those approval processes, fines, parking rules, exterior restrictions, or the monthly dues. Carson City homes with no HOA can feel refreshed comparing to that experience.
Still, every market has its norms. A neighborhood with more property freedom may look different from what you are used to, and that difference can be charming. It can feel uncomfortable if you're expecting freedom yourself, but consistency from everyone else.
It's important to tour with that in mind. Relocation buyers shouldn't assume that no HOA means that the neighborhood will look just like the controlled community that they came from, but without the fees. That's just not how it works. Freedom changes the visual and the practical feel of the street.
You should decide whether you like that before you buy. Now, resale deserves a careful look. A no HOA homes can attract a very motivated buyer pool. People actively search for them. RV owners, contractors, investors, outdoor-focused buyers, buyers with trailers, and homeowners who want more controls may prioritize those strongly.
That demand can help the right property stand out. The strongest homes with no HOA usually combine flexibility with order. They give buyers control without feeling chaotic.
They offer usable parking, clean maintenance, good access, practical exterior space, and a neighborhood setting buyers can really understand.
That combination is powerful. A no HOA property that has poor surrounding upkeep or awkward parking, unclear restrictions, neglected exterior areas, or too many owner-specific changes might not get that same reaction. Freedom alone isn't enough. The property still has to feel like a smart purchase.
For sellers, this matters a lot. If you're selling in a no HOA home in Carson City, the market should not simply say no HOA and stop there. Explain the benefits, show the parking, make the exterior flexibility clear, highlight the usable yard space, the garage functions, the access, the storage, and the ways the property support the buyer's lifestyle. The right buyer needs to see why that freedom matters.
A vague feature becomes more valuable when it's tied to a real use. Now, let's talk about the buyer who should be cautious. If you want every neighboring home to look consistent, no HOA areas are not going to feel as comfortable.
A buyer who dislikes visible trailers, different yard styles, varied exterior choices, or a looser neighborhood appearance should be honest about that. You may say you want freedom, but structure might make you a little bit happier.
That's not a weakness, it is self-awareness. HOA communities can offer predictability that some buyers really genuinely prefer. They might help maintain a more uniform appearance, or maintain shared spaces, or create expectations for what owners can and can't do. Rules can be frustrating, but they also reduce uncertainty.
A buyer who values that should not force themselves into a no HOA property just because the phrase sounds attractive. The right home should match how you want to live, not just how you want to feel during the search. Now, let's talk about the buyer who may be a great fit.
You might love a home in a no HOA area if you want more control, you can tolerate the neighborhood variety, and if you have specific property needs that the rules would interfere with. Maybe parking flexibility is a non-negotiable.
Perhaps you want to improve the home over time without the consent approval. A buyer with outdoor equipment, extra vehicles, pets, hobbies, or investment goals may need more room to make those decisions, and that person should look closely at a no HOA option.
The best fit happens when that freedom is useful and not just theoretical. You need to know what that property can actually do. The home that supports the use, the surrounding neighborhood that feels acceptable. Any remaining rules outside the HOA system need to be checked too.
That is how a no HOA purchase becomes a smart decision instead of an impulsive one. Now, let's answer the title directly. Should you chase a no HOA home in Carson City?
Sometimes, yeah. A no HOA property can be a fantastic fit when you want that control, you need the flexibility of the parking, value your exterior freedom, own recreational vehicles, prefer less rules, or want a property that can adapt to your life. The premium may be worth it if the home gives you usable freedom and not just the phrase.
Actual function, other times an HOA may be a better match. If you want predictable neighborhood appearance, shared standards, clear rule enforcement, or more of a management environment, structure may serve you better.
The important part is not choosing based on a label. No HOA is not automatically better.
An HOA is not automatically bad. Each option gives you something and asks something of you and from you.
No HOA gives you more control while asking you to accept more variation and responsibility. An HOA gives you more structure while asking if you want to live with more rules.
The better choice depends on what would bother you after you close, being told no or living next to someone else's yes.
That's the real trade-off. Before you fall in love with homes in a no HOA neighborhood, slow down and verify the details. Check how the property can actually be used. Understand any rules that still apply and look carefully at the neighborhood.
Confirm the parking, study the exterior maintenance, think about the resale, ask whether the freedom solves your real problem in your life. If the answer is yes, a no HOA home may be exactly what you need.
If that appeals mostly emotional though, you should take another look. The safest purchase is not necessarily the one with the fewest rules on paper. It's the one where the freedom, the responsibility, and the neighborhood reality all match the way that you really want to live.
If you're looking for a no HOA home in Carson City and you want to make sure the property actually gives you the control you think it does, reach out to us, talk through the rules with us, the lot, the parking, the resale picture, and whether the trade-offs make sense for you.
Subscribe for more Carson City and Northern Nevada real estate breakdowns, because the best home search isn't just about fewer restrictions, it's about finding the right kind of freedom for you.